Hello, folks. I'm Detroit Miracle. Yes, and indeed. Right now, I am here to have a serious financial discussion as it applies to businesses. Yeah, this involves businesses of a major as well as a major corporation level of a business. So when it's major corporations, that means it has various posts, buildings, and other designated areas which function within the company, away from the company, and together with the company. So, in other words, a major corporation might have a thousand outlets out there, but one big company might only have five outlets out there, such as some warehouses and a backup facility, oh, as well as like a business office where people can have their own offices. Wouldn't that be cool if you get your own office in a building that sits up high? Then you really know you made it when it's yours and no one shares it with you, of course. I know that is another story, but so, in other words, big businesses are out there and major corporations, and they're able to function because of enormous bank loans that they take out. Yeah, they take out major bank loans. It might be to the tune of billions of dollars. And so, in other words, those rich people that own those major corporations aren't really rich, but they are in terms of they take out bank loans off of the total assets that their company is worth. And they could probably take out personal bank loans too off of their existing assets. So, yeah. So, in other words, a billionaire could take out $400 million and probably take out another billion because they are worth that much. And then, with them being worth that much, to say that's a lot of assets. So, yeah, they could take out another existing loan. They say the sum total that a person is worth in assets, they could get a bank loan to match that sum total of what it's worth. Yeah. So people, in other words, too, would be surprised that major corporations don't have unlimited spending money. Because I thought that they did. I thought that if a company is worth $2 billion, then it at least has 500 million to spend of that. Yeah, I thought that if a company is worth 1 billion, 2 billion, 3 billion, and etc., it has some hundreds of millions of dollars, maybe 800 that is in millions. Because why would a company that's worth 3 billion only have $20 million in spending money? So those companies out there aren't liquid in terms of having unlimited money just because they're called major corporations. And that's because they need bank loans. They take out enormous bank loans. So it's theorized that banks actually own major corporations and other big businesses. But it might be somewhat sheer speculation, so you got to prove it, in other words. But it seems like that could be the case in terms. So imagine the real estate that banks own. If somebody works in a bank as a bank's president, their job is to make the bank as much money as they can. So what if this bank president makes that bank hundreds of millions of dollars for from various types of businesses that don't involve that bank specifically, such as casinos, nightclubs, restaurants, in terms of investing in those various types of things. So yeah, if it's big business anyhow, then it still works and it functions and flows and provides, of course, the jobs and other resources vital to society's livable condition. In other words, yeah, okay, folks. Yeah, I wanted to talk a little to you about financial and some other things with that, but yeah, mostly about financial. So thanks for tuning in. Until the next time, indeed.